What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen. This is Colts Law. I am so terribly sorry for all you guys. It's been sitting here waiting for almost an hour and a half. What in the world? I set this stream to go at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and for some stupid reason, it just went to 3:40, and I don't know why. It don't make any sense to me. But hey, I'm here. I noticed. I went and checked, and I was like, oh my goodness, there you are. I know you two completely disagreed, Alpha. I'm sorry. Alex, Nomadic Brian, Alpha Wolf, all you guys, John Davis. Let me throw out here McChicken. All you guys, I'm sorry. The company of Eagles. All you guys that were here waiting on me to go live. I am so sorry. So sorry. But I'm here, okay? I'm here now, and we're going to talk Wentz to the Colts. It's happened. What in the world, guys? I got a guy that covers the Eagles on Eagles Brawl. He was supposed to join me. We were supposed to do a little quick thing. He's at work, was unable to find time to do it, so we're going to pre-record that, send it out in tomorrow's stream when I talk with Colts Talk on YouTube. We had discussed doing a stream tomorrow on my regular podcasts on Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to probably record that and have it set in that with that stream. But for now, McChicken, I want my refund. Yeah, I get it. I'm sorry. Like I said, John, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. But anyhow, Carson Wentz to the Indianapolis Colts for a third-round pick this year, a second-round pick next year, and if he plays 75% of the snaps or 70% of the snaps and the Colts get into the playoffs, that second-round pick becomes a first-round pick. Why is this a good deal for Indy? Now, I'm not going to pull back and say, I was all for the Carson Wentz trade, because I wasn't. I was not. And the big deal for that is, heck, what the Philadelphia Eagles said they wanted for him. 2 first-round picks and a third for Carson Wentz. Are you out of your mind? No way was he worth that. He was not worth the end of the Matt Stafford deal. He was more closely to the Jared Goff deal. Now, okay, so that's what we're getting ready to get into right here, actually, because Alpha Wolf, the trade was a steal, but what's the contract look like? The beautiful thing about this is because the Eagles traded him now, the Eagles took on all the guaranteed money for his contract. Literally, the Colts owe none of that guaranteed money. His contract legitimately is like $25 million this year, $22 next year, $24, $25. That's what they're paying him with no guarantees, which means next year, if Carson Wentz gets hurt or plays poorly, not only do they not have to pay that first-round pick, it only becomes a second-round pick, but at the end of the year, the Colts can drop him and not owe a thing on dead cap. Not a thing. They're paying him an average of $25 million a year for the next 4 years with no guarantees and no dead cap, which means that's perfect for Indy. They can take a shot with him. He's going to be here with Frank Reich, who was there during that 2017 season when he was MVP caliber, right? So that's just flat amazing. And that trade now puts the Eagles in a really bad cap situation, right? They have the second worst salary cap situation in the NFL. And Chris Ballard, I'm okay with this trade because of how it ended up turning out. Because, if he balls out, we paid a first and a third for him. A first and a third. If he doesn't ball out, we paid a first or a third and a second and have no ties no ties to him for the rest, of his contract. We can just let him go and move on if we want to. So I think Ballard hammered this one for the Colts without any question. And quite frankly, look at it this way, okay? Carson Wentz, who played, 12 games last year and was sacked 50 times in 12 games. Rivers played every game and was sacked 19 times and could not move for nothing. He was the worst immobile quarterback in the NFL and was only sacked 19 times. Carson Wentz played 12 games and got sacked 50 times. That has to have a lot to do with how he played last year, right? So I think you put him behind this Colts offensive line, and remember, this is something else I love about this. Foles is not going to Indy. No, how long till Foles is not coming to Indy? At least I hope not. I really hope that Carson Wentz balls out, because that means we'll be set with quarterback for a $25 million a year average for the next 4 years. Now think about this. That's less than what the Indianapolis Colts was paying Jacoby Brissett or Phillip Rivers. What? $25 million a year currently is 16th in the NFL. 16th. That's on the bottom half of all the starters in the NFL. Right? That's dead smack in the middle, actually. So it's a good contract to pay, especially if he, turns out to be a top 15 quarterback in the NFL with a solid running game and a young receiving core and a really good defense to help him out. And Frank Reich, who, quite frankly, pun intended, is able to turn guys who look bad one year, Phillip Rivers, and made him look really reasonable the next. And Carson Wentz can run. He knows how to run an RPO. And when you got guys like Naheem Hines and Jonathan Taylor at the running back, and you got Carson Wentz who knows how to run an RPO with a great offensive line, there is potential here to be a very dangerous offense. Big time potential. I'm just afraid that Wentz might be damaged. And, irreparable. That's my only problem. That's why I didn't like, the Wentz trade for 2 first-round picks and a third. That just seemed utterly ridiculous to me. But in this situation, I think the Colts really, they're paying out enough, in my opinion, that they can take a shot at possibly getting an MVP caliber quarterback, but aren't taking the hit of taking that shot if he doesn't pan out. They could just drop him and move on if needed. So that's why I love this. This trade is okay to me. I'm not going to say I love it. I still would rather have Sam Darnold for a second-round pick over Wentz for a third and a first. Now, because I feel both of them are very legitimately kind of similar in their situations, right? I think that Sam Darnold has really high potential. I think Wentz has really high potential, but I think both their floors are like through the basement. So, but the fact that Frank Reich has history with Wentz has got to give me the opinion that I got to give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Between Ballard, who knows how to do homework and film, and Reich, who's worked with him before, like he's worked with Phillip Rivers before, they got to know what they're doing. And hopefully that turns out for the best for next year and the years to come. All right. We're going to need a good breakdown on Wentz. Alpha Wolf says, I was wondering if some of his performance last year could be blamed on the line. Trust me, there will be a film room on Carson Wentz. I planned on doing it anyhow. I didn't expect the trade to come out already, so that it will happen. Yeah, and Michael's saying it's definitely worth a film breakdown. Definitely. Avery, What's going on? I really feel that people need to calm down about this trade. Nobody will ever be satisfied. Play out, see what happens. Agreed. And that's why the trade value is that exact way. You know, if it works out great, great. If it doesn't, there's no strings attached. You'll lose a second round and a third round and a chance to having an MVP caliber quarterback. Okay. Now, what does this mean for the future for the Colts, this trade? Well, it means the Colts ain't trading up for a quarterback in the draft. I'll guarantee that. Okay? They're going to move forward with Carson Wentz. They're expecting him to be the starter. So everybody who thinks the Colts are going to move up in the draft for a quarterback to go get like Fields or someone like that, it ain't going to happen. They have a first and their second round pick this year. Now, I could see Ballard using that first round pick if a defensive end, a left tackle, or a cornerback who was considered a top 15 prospect in this draft slides to that 21st pick. I could see him grabbing him up and going, mine. But if that doesn't happen, those are needs for the Colts, right? A lot of people want to put wide receiver in as need. I got wide receiver as on the very back end of the need list, right? I still think that left tackle, defensive end, cornerback is way more important right now than wide receiver because Zach Pascal's a solid number, a solid target. Michael Pittman, I think, honestly, can move into that number one spot. And if Paris Campbell can somehow stay healthy, he'll be one of the most dangerous slot receivers in the NFL. So that's my thought process. I would love to see them go out and get one of those three with the first. If it doesn't happen, I'd like to see him trade out and get an extra second round pick, right? I would love to see that to get more picks trading out of the first if one of those three premier players don't drop the 21. Carson Wentz. Remember what Carson Wentz was with Alshon Jeffrey back in 2017? Jeffrey's very similar to Michael Pittman Jr. in skill sets. So that could be a very dangerous 1-2 combo, especially with sorry, that was my phone. Especially with the running game the Colts have. Man, the RPOs. I really, that's one thing the Colts really lacked last year with Phillip Rivers because he was so immobile. He couldn't really do a lot of RPOs very well, right? The RPOs was limited to being that situation where he was in RPO from shotgun because he couldn't move very well. Well, Carson Wentz can run stretch RPOs. He can run all sorts of things. And that's going to open up the field for Jonathan Taylor and Naheem Hines in these RPO situations. As long as Carson Wentz can throw the football down the field and make some completions down the field, that's great. Another thing that I'm really worried about Carson Wentz, hold on, I got to mute myself. One thing that I am worried about, I just lost my train of thought, guys. Oh, my goodness. What was I talking about? I was going somewhere with this, and then I lost my train of thought because I had to cough. Well, I know we was talking about – my wife's like, you were talking about Carson Wentz. Well, no kidding. Really? Wow. Mrs. Obvious sitting in the other room listening to me. Let me get a drink. Maybe I can collect my thoughts again. All right. So, yeah, one thing that what I was worried about, right? Something I was worried about Carson Wentz. And yes, okay, now I'm back to it. A lot of those 50 sacks that he took in 12 games had to do with the fact that he was holding the ball really long times, right? He was trying to play hero. hero ball, like what you saw with Andrew Luck when he was with the Colts, right? He tried to play hero ball, hold the ball way too long, and scrambling around out there like Russell Wilson and Mahomes and Josh Allen and all them. I don't want to see that from Wentz. I want to see someone out there that has the clock in his head, like kind of similar to what we saw with Rivers, even though Rivers is immobile, to get the ball out quickly. I still want Wright to run that quick pass attack with Wentz. Now, where Wentz's mobility will come in is if a screw up in blocking happens, right? And someone gets in right away and doesn't give him at least 3 seconds to find an open receiver, then that's when he can be like, gone, use that mobility then. But I still want to see the quick passing attack with the RPO rubbed in with Wentz sitting back there at quarterback. Zach, what's going on, my guy? Yeah, obviously injury problems. That's a situation. But remember, I mean, that has a lot to do with the fact that he played a lot of hero ball. And, offensive line has really taken hits over the last couple years. So that's how I see that. So what are your guys' thoughts about this whole pick? Yeah, Nomadic says definitely he will be good for Wentz. And it's definitely, yeah. Michael Pittman's going to be awesome. And like I said, if Paris Campbell can stay healthy, my goodness, that'll be Wentz's favorite target, without question. That's so funny. He says, we'll hook up a little electric shock thing like one of them dog collars, right? If he holds the ball too long, right? It's like, That'd be great. Oh, my goodness. That'd be so funny. Oh, what's up, Shrayless? Run the damn ball. Absolutely. That is the best way to help a quarterback is a run game, right? Absolutely, without question. That'll help him out. Don't put everything on him. Don't allow him to play hero ball. Run the ball real well. Give him those quick slant patterns and things of that nature so he can get rid of the football. That will actually help get Carson Wentz his own self-esteem up, right? And get his belief back in himself and feel comfortable back there. That way he can play better. Yeah, I already talked about this, Zach. Bold take, he says he thinks trade back to 21 early to mid-second round, pick up another second or third. Unless, a big-time top 15 defensive end or left tackle or cornerback drops. I'm sorry. In my opinion, if Jalen Phillips drops to 21, the Colts should grab him up with not any question in my mind. But that's neither here nor there. Good Lord, guys. I love having you all on here. It's so hard for me to see and keep. Jamal says the run game will absolutely help him get the weight off his shoulders. Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's a good question. Wentz and Eason, since Brissett probably won't be back, will we get another quarterback? I think so. I think the Colts will most likely scenario, what you'll see is the Colts will most likely go out and draft themselves another young quarterback. I think Eason will be our number 2. He'll sit behind Wentz. The Colts will probably draft another young quarterback for practice squad reasons, right? That's how I see that. Because Wentz has injury history, and that's a legitimate worry, you're going to need 3 quarterbacks. So use another 4th, maybe, to pick up another quarterback, right? What if Mond falls to the 4th round? Maybe that's a good option. Pick him up, and then you could drop him into your practice squad for next year. That's my thoughts. Hector, Javier, Garcia. In 2019, it was incredible how the Eagles got a playoff berth. It was Wentz alone. With that structure, the Colts may bounce. What? You're saying with the Colts structure, the Colts, when you say bounce, it sounds like you're saying that they would get bounced out of the playoffs because they're not structured well. I mean, everyone says the Colts are one of the most well-rounded teams in the NFL. So maybe I'm misinterpreting your comment there. I don't know. Yeah, Wentz will now have a consistent run game for the first time since the Blunt and Jay Ajayi days. Yes, I agree. Colts fan, UK. How's it going, my guy? I'm not the biggest Wentz fan, but for a second, maybe a late first, the third is a G. Again, yes. And remember, the Colts got to get to the playoffs, basically, or he has to play 75% of the snaps for them to give away a first. And that first-round pick, if they make the playoffs, will be another 21st or later first-round pick. So it's not like, the Colts will be giving away a big – so that's a great deal either way around. Jamal Lucas says he thinks that Marvell Tell might steal Rock's place. That's fine. Who's going to play the other side, right? TJ Carey's gone. Rhodes may not come back. We still need a cornerback. I don't know. McChicken, I haven't really done a whole lot of stuff yet. Jamie Newman, I haven't really looked at his stuff. I only looked at like 4 quarterbacks so far, so I don't know. Company Eagle says Eason could beat out Wentz for the start. I mean, I'm not going to rule that out. It's possible, but I don't know. I doubt it. But at the same time, I really hope that Eason is at least the backup, right? So that he's no longer, at least he's dressed. I want to see him at least dress for the games this year. That's an interesting combination too. Maybe the Colts could sign Alex Smith, but Alex Smith ain't going to sign for, $4 or $5 million, and that's what you want to do for a backup. I think Alex Smith is going to want a little more than that. The left tackle out of Notre Dame be there in the second round. He's a pro-ready tackle. Notre Dame is so well known for their offensive linemen. I mean, hello, Quentin Nelson, right? Okay, he's saying that as in Wentz will bounce to recover his level of play. I got you. Okay, gotcha. That's okay, my guy. It's okay, my guy. I understand. My English isn't very good, and that's my primary language. So it's, I just appreciate you being here. Thanks so much. You think that Isaiah Rodgers is a second quarterback? Okay. Isaiah Rodgers got burnt a couple times last year, but he's got good upside. The Colts have a very young cornerback system right now. I still think they need to get themselves, like I said, what if Indy somehow says, you know what? We'll trade our first-round pick to another team. I've already said this once. Kind of like the Niners deal last year. I like that idea. They could trade their first-round pick to the Saints, who's in horrible cap situation, who aren't going to be able to re-sign Marshawn Lattimore for a long-term contract. Lattimore's a top 5 corner in the NFL. The Colts could give them the 21st pick, get Marshawn Lattimore, and do what they did with DeForest Buckner. Then you would be set at all 3 levels for the next 5 years at defensive line, linebacker, and cornerback. That's an idea I threw out there. I like that idea. Some people like that idea. We'll see. If you like that idea, let me know. Is it a must that the Colts go out this free agency and pick up an Allen Robinson type player for Carson Wentz? Or can the Colts get by with what they got on their roster and maybe drafting another guy in the second or third round? I want to hear some opinions on that. All right. Do the Colts now go out and offer like a 3rd or 4th round pick for Zach Ertz? Do they do that? Do they re-sign Trey Burton? Right? How about Trey Burton? Because Wentz has, the Philly special, right? That's a good question right there. That's just my thought. Save money for Von Miller when Denver releases him. That's a scary situation too. But what about like JJ? Do you think JJ would come with Wentz now at quarterback? Do you think the Colts have any kind of pull to get JJ Watt on the team? Or Von Miller? Either one. I don't know, Jamie Miller asked, backup quarterback spot. I think Eason takes that backup quarterback spot. I think he sat out all year last year. The Colts will have an actual offseason this year, so I think he'll probably end up getting that backup quarterback spot. Hey, guys, don't forget, please smash that like button. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Tag that notification bell so you're notified next time I go live. There's a share button right here where you can hit that share it to your favorite social media, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Please help me out. I'm getting more subs. Don't forget, in the description, I have my Patreon. If you want to help support me in a financial way, I'd be most appreciative. I finally got my first patron. Was it yesterday or day before? So, feel free, check that page out. Really, really appreciate it. Honestly, I could see JJ going to Pittsburgh, even though they have a horrible cap. I think JJ would take a monster pay cut. I could also see him going to the Cardinals too, right? With D-Hop, because they need defensive help. DeAndre Hopkins and him know each other really well. He's already pushed to get JJ out there. You get some really dangerous defensive players over there in Arizona, and they'll be fighting with the Rams and Seattle and the Niners for that division and continue, because they're all building up. That's a nasty division, by the way, in the NFL. Ugh. Yeah, I get it, Avery. I'm not sure if Wentz is attractive enough either. But the Colts made the playoffs last year and took the Bills to the brink of a game. So I think that's a situation where, honestly, I think that'd be nasty. Could you imagine if the Colts got Jalen Phillips and then signed J.J. Watt? And you would have Jalen Phillips on one end, J.J. Watt on the other, DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart in the middle. That'd be the best defensive line in freaking football. Period. That'd be some scary stuff right there. Yeah, I know. I get it. There's a lot of teams out there that are in. I mean, the Eagles are still looking to cut people or trade people to try to get cap. So, but yeah, even though I was not a huge Carson Wentz fan, coming into this offseason, it was mostly because, there's no way in God's green earth that I was going to be okay with giving 2 first-round picks for Carson Wentz after the season he had last year. There's just no way. I would feel like, that'd be an awful situation. And I just didn't think Ballard would do that. A lot of Eagles guys are, upset that the Colts, they feel, I'm looking on Twitter and I'm talking to guys who follow the Eagles. They feel like that Chris Ballard fleeced the Eagles. And in a way, they did. We'll never recover from cutting John Simon. He says that because he's a Patriots fan and he's on the Patriots. And John Simon's a great player. He just didn't fit the scheme that the Colts had, the defensive scheme the Colts had. But, man, I wish John Simon all the luck. Even though he is a Patriot now, I still wish him all the luck because I loved him. Pollywog, thanks for being here on the stream. Appreciate you being here. Thanks so much. We should re-sign T.Y. and Pascal, make a move on A-Rob, but I don't. But draft a guy. Yeah, we need to bring back Mo Alley Cox. I think Mo Alley Cox would have fun. I think Wentz would have fun with a guy like Mo Alley Cox who can block and go out and make big plays in the passing game. So, yeah. But still, man, obviously T.Y. Hilton's a Colt, and he's always going to be a Colt to every Colts fan out there. But I still don't know if he's going to want to go with Carson Wentz. I don't know. If we re-sign him, will he take a short deal? T.Y. right now is ring chasing, okay? Because he's nearing the end of his career as a wide receiver. He's ring chasing. Does he feel the Colts are a legitimate Super Bowl threat with Carson Wentz? That's the question, okay? A guy I really, really like, since we have that big 50-50 guy now in Michael Pittman, and if we want to spend a little money, between $8 and $10, $12 million for a wide receiver on a T.Y. Hilton style receiver, go get Curtis Samuel from the Panthers. I did a film room on him for DPN. I love his big play ability. Curtis Samuel would be a great fit in Indy right now. He's very much like a healthy Paris Campbell, in my opinion. So, yeah, McChicken says that Wentz loves tight ends. Yes. And we got Jack Doyle for another 3 years. Bring back Mo Alley Cox. And either have Trey Burton or trade for Zach Ertz, because those obviously would be his, security blankets. And I think we'd be good. Bud Dupree is interesting because I think Bud Dupree might have excelled because the guy opposite him was TJ. All right. TJ Watt was on the opposite end of that pass rush scenario with TJ Watt, So I think that might have, so you got to keep that in mind. I don't know. Depends upon how much Dupree wants. But if he wants $15 million a year, I don't think he's worth it. I honestly don't. Josh Lambert, thanks for being on the stream. Why do you think the Colts didn't try to include Ertz? They may have. Maybe the Philadelphia just kind of said, no, I don't want to go that route. Maybe they want to make a separate trade for Ertz, right? Which is possible. Maybe they think that they could get more out of Ertz than making it with a package deal. Jamie Miller, thanks for being on the stream. We bring in Wentz and lose Sirianni. How much do you see the offense changing from what we were doing last year? Obviously, that lots depends on the tight end and wide receiver. And what's funny that you mentioned Sirianni, because Sirianni's now the head coach of the Eagles. So my question back to you is, how much do you think the Frank Reich, Nick Sirianni connection had to do with this trade of Carson Wentz? That's an interesting. I don't think losing Sirianni is going to be a big deal for the offense, honestly, because Sirianni and Frank Reich, from all reports, are very similar in coaching styles. But the OC now for the Colts was the Indianapolis Colts quarterback coach. So I think that's going to be a huge help for Carson Wentz. Yeah, most likely. It would have probably included our first this year. I agree. Or moving up to a second. And I think Chris Ballard wanted that first and second round pick this year to help fill holes that the Colts desperately need. Wide receiver might be a spot. Defensive end, cornerback. Don't don't be surprised if he goes for any of those spots in free agency. Now, they might not be free agents, like I said. They might be straight trades with teams that are in a very serious cap situation, right, to help them out and at the same time help us out. So it'll happen in free agency, but it don't necessarily mean that they're free agents that it happens with. Zach, yeah, absolutely. The fact that the Eagles ate all of his guarantees this year makes this contract beautiful for Indianapolis, right? Beautiful. They're paying the fourth highest cap hit in the NFL right now for a single player, and he's not even on their team anymore. And the Colts now have no guarantees with Carson Wentz. They can, if he doesn't play well or he gets hurt or something, they can let him go and no strings attached. A freaking min. Now, here's the thing. The Colts want Xavier Rhodes back. They offered him about $9 million. The rumor is they offered him about $9 million. Rhodes thinks he's more of a $12 to $15 million quarterback. So he's hitting free agency to see what his market is. Now, the only way Rhodes comes back to Indy, and I could see, is if he gets any kind of signing. If he doesn't get an offer higher than $11 million, then he might come back to Indy just because of familiarity and he played well. If he gets something higher than $11 million, I think that's enough money for him to move on and go somewhere else just for the cash. But I'd love to have Rhodes back without any question. Rhodes closed in Indy. Absolutely. I think Trent Williams is going to be a little too expensive for the Colts, man. You go get Trent Williams. You got to remember, we got to re-sign. Quentin Nelson's going to be ridiculous, $20 million plus a year. We're already paying Kelly $15 million a year. Then you got Smith out there at right tackle. We have to extend him this year. He's probably going to be $12 million. Trent's going to want $15 million, at least $15 to $18 million. That'll put literally a quarter of our cap space would be then put on our offensive line. I don't like that. I like Trent Williams though. I don't know if I don't know if I want to pay the money because it'll hit the rest of the Colts as a team. Avery Walker, yeah, sheer the one thing that Chris Ballard hasn't been able to do in the draft is draft cornerbacks, right? You got Rocky Sin, you got Nate Hairston, the guy that was with the Jets also that just got released last year. That's why I think the trade for Marshawn Lattimore would be a good thing for Ballard to do. That way he's got that locked up, that number one corner locked up for a long period of time. It's for the exact same reasons that he went and got DeForest Buckner. No. I don't think Quentin Nelson will get his extension this year. I think he'll get it next year. I think that the Colts will obviously hit him with the fifth-year option, and then he'll get his extension next offseason. And that will free up a little money this year, I think, to get Leonard his extension. That's how I see it. Quincy Wilson, thanks for that, Zach. I completely forgot. I know that that's upsetting to you because my boy Zach Sears had, interviews with Colts corners like Pierre Desir, another guy that ended up over on the Jets. So, again, Avery Watkins, thanks. Thank you. Yeah, I like Rocky Sin. He's just too handsy. He's got to remember to not pull on tackles and stuff. You can't pull on a jersey, right? I think That's why I think Marshawn Lattimore would be great as well, because he is a physical SOB as well at a corner, but he doesn't get hit with PIs like Rock does. So he could teach Rock how to stay physical, but not get PIs. That's why I think, that'd be another good reason to have Lattimore in. I could see that. I could see it, Jamie. Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about this. All the holes on the Colts are premier positions. Quarterback, well, that's been filled, but it was a premier position. Left tackle, premier position, right? Both defensive ends are premier positions that cost money. Cornerbacks, premier positions. The only position that we're losing in free agency, really, that's not going to cost a bunch of money is middle linebacker. And I hate the fact that we're going to end up losing him, because I don't think we can afford the $10 to $12 million that Anthony Walker Jr. is going to get offered by other teams. Yeah, right. Yes. Do we move on from Hooker? I think we do. And there's a reason why. The only way we would keep Hooker is if, because of the injury, he would sign a prove-it deal for little money. But because safety, especially his type of safety play, at that free safety position that we have seen over the last couple seasons and free agencies just light up free agency and money-wise, I think he's going to get offered a big money by a team that's willing to take a chance on him. Alex says, move Nelson to left tackle and plug Penner in at guard. Let me explain why that's a bad idea. Could he play left tackle and probably play it well? Yes. There's a reason Nelson is so dangerous at guard, because he can pull incredibly well. You don't pull left tackles. You could pull guards, but you don't pull left tackles. So if you put him at left tackle, you're taking away that pulling thing that Nelson does so well. So I think you still need to go out and get a left tackle. Leave Nelson at the right guard position or left guard position. That's just my thought process on that. Guys, thanks so much, man. I've had a lot of people on here. 20 views. I've seen it as high as 30 so far. Don't forget, smash that like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Go check out my Patreon. The link is down there in the description. Also, check me out on Twitter. Give me a follow on Twitter, because I'm on Twitter all day, every day. All day, every day. But yeah. So, getting back with Carson Wentz, could you imagine? Wentz is a good scrambling quarterback. I have not seen, even with Andrew Luck, the Colts didn't run like actual RPOs where Luck actually takes off with the football. Wentz can do that. Now, I'd be scared to run that because Wentz is so damn injury prone, but it's an option, right? Bam. Here we go. Joe Haeg is a free agent this year. We could go get him, drop him in at left tackle. Leave Pinter. I would rather have Pinter as that swing guy in case someone gets injured. You could just drop him in because Pinter can play just like Joe Haeg. You can play any position on the offensive line. I would rather have Pinter, who's younger. Haeg actually has good tackle experience. I would not have any qualms about going up and giving Haeg like an $8 million or a $10 million contract to play left tackle for the Colts for a couple years. Yes. You're talking about that tweet. Doesn't matter who you are. It's that whole Matt Eberflus thing, right? No loafs. If you loaf, you don't play. Doesn't matter how big your name is or how important you are to the team. If you loaf, you don't play. And that's all Darius Leonard was explaining about in his tweet about, it doesn't matter how big or little your name is. If you're coming here, you better be prepared to play. That is a good possibility about cutting Glowinski for cap. I will say that Glowinski has improved during his time here in Indianapolis, especially as a pass blocker. He's always been a great run blocker, but last year he did a lot better as a pass blocker than what he was the previous 2 years. But it's possible. I don't know about cut, but Glowinski might just get released because, he was on a 3-year extension. It ends next year, so. Lewis Ocean. Sup, Lawrence is a Pats fan. I love this trade for the Colts. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. Thanks for stopping in, man. Don't forget to hit that like button while you're here. Ryan Woodridge. Hey, bro, will T.Y. Hilton come back to the Colts? We talked about this already earlier. Hilton's ring chasing, and the only way that he'll come back is if he believes Wentz can get the Colts to the Super Bowl. Otherwise, I legitimately could see him signing on a cheap deal to like Kansas City or the Bucks, because the Bucks are going to end up losing a lot of guys as like Chris Godwin. There's no way they can re-sign him. I could see him ring chasing. Now, the only way is if, like I said, if he believes in Wentz. Ingrid Wavern says, congrats on Wentz. Thanks so much for being here. Please smash that like button for me while you're here as well. But thank you on the congrats. I'm going to hold off on that, though, hoping that he turns out good. I know that his ceiling is up there, hopefully. But the trade itself was perfect, was absolutely perfect. Dude, I'm telling you what, the Patriots absolutely, man, they churn out offensive linemen like the way the Amish churn butter. I mean, it's ridiculous how well. I mean, every year a new offensive lineman hits free agency for the Patriots, and they end up, making $15 million a year. Wentz is going to be a good quarterback. Just give him a wide receiver. The Colts have wide receivers. They really do. They're just not a lot of big names. But that doesn't mean that they're not talented, right? Michael Pittman Jr. is a very solid wide receiver. You just wait and see. Paris Campbell, if he can stay healthy, very, very solid. And we've seen some interesting aspects from some of the other young guys, like DeMichael Harris. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Could you imagine if T.Y. Hilton ended up signing with Kansas City? Ew. That'd be tough. He's to sign with Houston. I mean, right? It's a second home anyhow. He's guaranteed to have 8 100-yard games if he signs in Houston. That's for sure. Yeah, I think I'm tempering it, but yeah, exactly. I hope he does do well. We've talked about this now for 50 minutes. We think that the upside is worth the contract. Oh, man, I'll tell you what. If Wentz comes, what traditionally happens is the veteran who comes in will offer money to the younger player for that number. And I'm sure that Wentz will probably offer Michael Pittman Jr. some money for number 11, and then MPJ will probably say, yes, okay. That's probably what's going to happen. Just saying. Unless Wentz doesn't like 11, which I doubt. I'm pretty sure that's his number. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about, Shrey. We've got some young receivers that have shown potential. Not necessarily. The one that went to the Raiders played very, very well. Right? He's played well for the Raiders. Sorry, guys. I'm still looking through here. I get that he's an underrated free agent, Lewis, but Richard Sherman is at the age. I want a young corner, okay? Richard's still going to want money. He's still good, but he's still going to want good money. And I want to sign someone who's going to be here a while, right? And I don't know how long Sherman's going to – what is he, like 33? That's about that age where cornerbacks start to fall off, like hard off a cliff. Same way with wide receivers at that age. Yeah, again, same thing. Guys, I love the fact that all of you are here. Please don't forget, smash that like button. Check out my Patreon. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. But I've been here for almost an hour. And my boys over on Bring the Juice podcast, I believe, are streaming right now. I want to go check them out as well. So I'm going to end this stream, and I want to thank everybody who was here. Much love, much appreciation. Don't forget, I will be here tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Colts Talk on YouTube, right? Another Colts guy. We're going to be talking about the offense in free agency tomorrow. But I'm going to ask you all, I'm going to end this. Let's go over to over there to Bring the Juice. Bring my guys over there. I love Cody. I love Derek. Let's see how they're doing. Have a good day. And as usual, have a good one. Talk to you later.